Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great day so far. It's been a wonderful morning, really beautiful and sunny, but the thing is, because of the amount of sun that we're getting already this morning, my tulips are opening faster than I can pull them. So I needed to hurry up and get the rest of the nursing home tulips harvested and get them over to the nursing home. And then what I want to do is immediately flip that bed over and plant gladiolas. I already have some purples, greens, whites, and pinks planted here in the landscape that I plan to just perennialize. I'm in 6B. They normally say people lower than 7 need to dig their gladiolas. I never have them. They come back for me. But you know, take that with a grain of salt, of course. But anyway, what I want to plant in the raised beds is colors that I don't necessarily want to keep in the garden. So some reds, some oranges, there's like some tricolor red and purple that probably will sell really well at the stand because it's an easy color to see from the road, but it's just not something I really want to have hanging out in the garden. So I'm going to do those in a raised bed, and then after they're harvested, I'll probably see if my mom wants the corms because I know she likes warm colors. But guys, that's what I'm gonna get up to today. But let's hurry up and harvest these tulips before they all blow open with all this sunshine. Gracie, you ready to get to work? We gotta get to work. We gotta do the tulips. I don't think she wants to get to work. So I have the buckets set back by the raised beds, but I wanted to show you a few beautiful things before we head all the way back there. I picked up these pink peony style tulips from Lowe's right at the end of the season. You know, when they put the bags on discount for $1. And of course, they're turning out to be my absolute favorite tulip this year. Now over here is the Jubilee collection from Longfield. And I bet by today, all of these are gonna be open. I'll have to come back out with my good camera later in the evening. And look at the crabapple. Isn't it looking beautiful? That's a Prairie Fire crabapple that I put in last year. I think I only paid $17 for that tree. Can you believe that? Down at Tractor and Supply. Sometimes Tractor and Supply has really good deals on trees. Here's a tulip that I'm really falling in love with. It's called Foxy Foxtrot. And I think it's really beautiful, a nice buttery yellow with these kind of gold brush strokes on the petals. And once again, by 2 o'clock, when these are really fully open, it's gonna be absolutely spectacular. But you see, I'm getting distracted already. We need to get to harvesting. So here are the tulips we're gonna be harvesting. These are all Triumph variety of tulips. I don't normally grow these kind. It's just a little bit hard to compete in the market with such a simple tulip. But for the nursing home, I think it's really nice, a beautiful color, lots of nice cheer. And I really like this one. It's kind of a buttery yellow with a pink margin all around it. That is really nice. And guys, you can see like this one is just garbage at this point. These all opened like this just this morning since I woke up at 6. So it's 8 now. So you can see just what 2 hours will do, and the sun's probably been shining about an hour. So we really want to pull them. Ideally, I'd like them to look like this, not like that. But thankfully, since these are for the nursing home and not a florist or a grocery store, we'll be okay. Here's some more of those bulbs from Lowe's. I think this bulb lasagna, I'm gonna have to repeat this next year. So just one more thing before we get to harvesting. Somebody asked me about how to get such a long stem length on my grape hyacinths. So you can see that's a nice long stem on this guy. You wanna pull them, not cut. So you wanna go down there to the base and pull. And so you get a lot more stem length that way. That's really a nice long stem. I would say, 14 inches. So yes, I made an arrangement with these, and I think there was some questions about were they in the water or not, and they were. So yeah, pull, don't cut. All right, now let's harvest. So my goal here is to try and get the bulb out too, if I can, just because we're gonna be flipping this bed immediately. And the one nice thing about doing tulips in a raised bed like this, or you know, some people like to do no-till, is that the bulb comes out a lot easier than when you do a landscape planting. So I'm just pulling, snipping the bulb off. Up like that one, the bulb didn't come off. One thing I forgot to mention in the last video is about a disease called tulip fire. And it's really important to rotate your tulip plantings and never plant tulips in the same area for 7 years, because tulip fire is a very, very devastating disease to get. So yes, definitely take precaution and rotate your tulip crop. So just go ahead and snip these bulbs off as I go along, because I'm going to compost them. I know it's painful to any gardener watching out there, but when we're talking about tulips as cut flowers, they really are an annual crop. And it's a lot easier if I can get the bulb out. That's less work that we'll have to do later when we plant the gladiolas. So I'm not sure why I'm seeing such an increase in the amount of squirrels that we're having over here, but we have a lot of squirrels, and you know squirrels love tulips. So what I do for that is I put down chicken wire. So I did the trench method here. I dug this whole area up. I planted the bulbs, covered them up, and then I just covered this area with chicken wire and then put my mulch down, which I just used some shredded leaves for that. But the chicken wire does really help with the squirrels. It just doesn't allow them to dig down. I've been meaning to tell you guys about this great podcast that I've been listening to this past year, I guess. It's the No-Till Flowers podcast with Jenny Love. Jenny is in Philly, and she's the current president of the Association of Specialty Cut Flower Growers. But she does really informative episodes, science-based. You will just learn so much. I learn so much every single episode. I'm really grateful she does it. But just this past week, she had on Dave Dowling, and anyone out there that's a flower farmer knows Dave. He's really the king of bulbs, if you will. But her and Dave just talked about tulips for a whole hour, all different stages of harvest, disease, marketability, how to make money with tulips, no-till tulips. So definitely check out Jenny's podcast, the No-Till Flowers podcast. I also really love the episode she did with Cozy Town Flowers. They did one on dahlias, but then they did this bonus episode all about dahlia pests. That was really helpful. I know she's had on Bear Mountain Farms, which I love them. But, you know, just a really great podcast. I know some people ask me for recommendations sometimes on that. So, is it sounding like I'm completely out of breath? Does the audio sound ridiculous? Probably. Well, what can you do? All right, that looks like a great harvest. So I'll get these inside to condition. You can see some I left here in the bed. These are just too small to develop or do anything worthwhile. I'm just gonna pull them out and compost them. And then we're also gonna compost these bulbs. And then we can get on to planting some gladiolas. All right, so I'm just gonna set these in here to condition for a bit while I get the gladiolas planted. Where's the other espresso ones, Grace? Ah, here they are. All right, Grace, you ready to go back outside? All right, so I got the trench dug for the gladiolas, and I'll show you how I go about planting them in this trench. But no matter where you're planting a gladiola, whether it be a raised bed like you're gonna see me plant here, or out in the landscape, you just wanna find a site that gets full sun and has well-draining soil. You don't want that corm to sit in water. And that's really all there is to it. You put the gladiola 4 inches down, cover it up with soil, mulch it, water it in, walk away, and in about 90 days, it'll be flowering for you. And I like to succession plant gladiolas rather than planting my whole box of 750 glads all at once. I like to stagger that planting and do about 100 every 2 weeks. That way I have a steady supply of gladiolas rather than a big explosion that probably the only way to sell those would be to sell them to a florist. I just don't have that type of demand at the stand. But that succession of 100 every 2 weeks seems to work for me. And I do the same thing with my pro-cut sunflowers. Gladiolas and pro-cuts get planted every 2 weeks. But now let me show you this trench. Here's the raised bed, and what I like to do is to divide it into 2 sections just to make it easier on my body. So I remove the soil from this area. I put some of it over in the bed, some of it in my wheelbarrow, and I find that using this flat-headed shovel works really good for digging trenches in raised beds. But yeah, guys, I just dug down 4 inches. I placed the glads 3 inches apart, and now I'll just cover it back up with soil. I'll remulch it a bit, and then what I'll also do is cover it with chicken wire, because I am having trouble with squirrels digging up the corms in the landscape, and I am sure they're going to be back here wanting to feast on these as well. I don't think you'll see me do that in this video because I have to go to the hardware store and get some more, but just know that I'm going to do that after this video. All right, let's get them all planted. Hey guys, what you doing? Well, now that I got all those gladiolas planted out, I can go in and work on the bouquets, and I'll show you what they look like when they're all done. Well, I think these bouquets turned out really great. I hope they're really gonna bring a lot of joy to the residents. It's just so wonderful to see all these tulips grouped together, and you know, I can just remember the day I planted them in the fall. It's kind of funny how you can, you know, remember things like that. I guess flowers kind of connect you to a time and a place, don't they? But these are going to the nursing home residents just for free. I notice a lot of people ask me about my carriers. My parents order wine in the mail sometimes, and this is what the wine comes in, and it's perfect for transporting jars, or you know, I put them out at my stand. Now what I use today for these aren't glass, these are plastic drinking cups from the dollar store, and I thought they just made a nice vase, and we can't use glass there at the nursing home. But yeah, guys, I'm just really excited to get these over there. All right, guys, well, I'm gonna wrap the video up here for today. Thank you, Grace. I need to go down to the nursing home and deliver those arrangements. Then I'll pick up some chicken wire and I'll just lay that over the raised beds, and in the corners, I'll put just like a brick in each corner. And once the gladiolas start to come up, then I'll go ahead and remove that chicken wire. But also, I found out some really exciting news just as I was kind of in and out of the house, and that's that a blog that I wrote about Gladiolus for Longfield Gardens came out today. And it talks a little bit about my grandmother and some memories of her, and I'll put that in the description section if you might want to check it out. Well, guys, I want to wish you a great day, and if you're out there pulling tulips like me, just keep on pulling. Bye.